How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Lethal Gear podcast. This is a special episode, and since Sonic Mania came out today, and by the time you probably hear this, it's going to be tomorrow or the next day, we decided to do a Sonic the Hedgehog. Or next week, yeah! It's Sonickick time. We decided to do a Sonic the Hedgehog podcast. So, you know me, I'm Sonickick. I would be the one to be on a Sonic podcast.
I'm just the guy from the Lottie Vanilla one.
Yeah, no one remembers you at all. You just spoke every once in a while.
Okay, but yeah, you know me on YouTube as Channel Tailspan Lives. I was that guy that made the AMVs once.
Hey, where's your last AMV?
Never.
He also used to write Sonic fan fiction.
I swear to God, we're already going off to a meme start. Okay, but yeah, that's who I am, and I like going by BlackRockShadow now. So please use that from now on.
Okay. Who else is here? Who else is here?
Hi, I'm running the stream, except not at the same time. I'm jrstan.
All right. Hi, I'm TheRadRaicer. I'm new to this specific podcast. I do my own podcast on another channel, but that's not a plug.
Fucking chill.
I used to, like our friend BlackRockShadow, used to make Sonic AMVs, but you can't find them now, so
because
have fun with that.
They were all shit.
They were Windows Movie Maker.
Oh. Yeah, it's one of those, so it's even worse than It's even worse than Brendan's.
But I'm a long-time Sonic fan, and can't wait to talk about this. Who's next?
Well, I could go next.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Brandon from the Infinite Ammo Syndicate. I'm a guest, and God help me.
God help me. God help me. There you go. Anyways, we know we have a few topics we can talk about, a few discussions we can go off on. So, this is just a general question, but everyone, what was your first Sonic game or your first exposure to Sonic? Those can be two different things, but it can be the same. So let's go down this little history lesson down the trail. Do you want me to start, or do you guys want to go?
Let's just do it in the order of how people are listed on the stream. So it's you, BlackRockShadow, me, Brandon, and...
I ain't reading shit.
I ain't reading shit. Alright. So my first exposure with Sonic was actually at a Best Buy, right? I saw this little... I remember I was bored. Like, usually I would always liked when... My favorite thing is definitely back in the day where they would used to show off demos and stuff of games that were on store shelves and stuff like that. They would have those. I guess they had retail demo discs, and one of them I remember actually having Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut on them, and so I actually I started looking at it and I'm like, oh, what's this little blue dude? I think I've seen him around. It was a I've seen him, but I started playing Sonic Adventure and I enjoyed it because it was my experience with gaming was fucking Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase on PS1, and
which you streamed a couple of nights ago.
Scooby-Doo and the fucking Cyber Chase, and then I also played stuff like Crash and Spyro, and the other game I had is fucking Weakest Link on PlayStation 1. That's because my family really liked that show, and my sister bought the game for some reason. Anyways, so I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So that's when around I think that year I got my GameCube, and I remember there was at Toys R and for some reason there was a coupon for you can get 3 free games at any store. So we decided to go to Toys R Us, right? So I had to decide on 3 games. I was going to choose Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, and the third game was originally going to be a Harry Potter game, right? For a game, I think it was Prisoner of Azkaban, and since I come from a very Christian home, my sister's like, no, you shouldn't buy that. That's magicians and rabbits and Satan and shit. And I was mad. I was like, I want to buy this though. This can be fun. And it's like I saw
have VeggieTales taught you anything?
and I'm just like, I saw the pre-rendered CGI trailer on the television for it. It should be pretty good. And they're like, no, choose something else. I'm like, fine. I decided on I saw Sonic Mega Collection on the great on Nintendo GameCube. So that was the third game I picked, and I was like, whoa, 7 games. Man, these look old as shit, but I don't care. They're still fun. So, yeah, and so my first games I actually played and owned were the original Sonic games, Sonic 1, 2, and 3. So, yeah. That's how I got introduced to Sonic. That took pretty longer than expected, but
I'll wait until you hear mine.
yeah.
Nice.
I think up next is BlackRockShadow.
Yeah, considering I'm next on the list. Yay. Mine, I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. Mine's going to be so different that I'm probably like one of the few that have this as the first game.
I've heard this story.
Okay.
I think I've heard
So-
it before. I'm not sure.
Be me. Probably like 5, maybe a little younger. I don't actually remember the actual age. It doesn't matter. As a kid, I had a Sega Saturn.
Fucking degenerate.
Well, I had a Nintendo 64 as well, but I also had a Saturn. The Saturn was my parents'. The 64 was mine. Let me sum it up like that. Anyways, my first game was actually not only was this my first Sonic game, it was actually my first game overall. Sonic Jam, the little collection for the Sega Saturn or whatever. I don't know exactly which one, but I want to say it's Sonic 2 was my first one. And ever since I was a kid, I loved Sonic 2 and 3. Anyone, if y'all looked at my Twitter recently, I made an entire post about why I'm freaking hyped for Mania yesterday, and I said that Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 were some of my favorite games growing up as a kid. So like I played those two to death on that collection. It's easily my favorite games of all time. Still to this day. Sonic 2, in fact, is in my top 5. Maybe Sonic 3 as well. I haven't really figured that out yet, but yeah, Sonic Jam was my first, but I didn't totally get into the series until I got Sonic Adventure on the Nintendo GameCube. Now, so that's me.
I don't know if I can remember mine. Mine's kind of complicated story. Something that I should note, and I'm perfectly fine with everybody knowing this because it's on my Twitter. I'm 16 years old, 16 and a half years old. So whenever 10th anniversary was 6 months away from my birthday, right? So I was born in January 2001. 10th anniversary was in June 2001. So it had been out for a while, all those older games. So it's safe to say that my first really exposure was ever going to BlackRockShadow's house and just anything that happened the first time I was over there was really my first exposure. But
The first time I had sex was actually at BlackRockShadow's house.
Yeah, it kind of does sound like that story, doesn't it? But that's actually another story. So I think it's safe to say that I was first exposed to it then. But whenever I played my first Sonic game was really, I think it was Heroes, because we bought it used from like eBay for like $3 back in 2006, and I played it then.
What version was it?
GameCube.
Okay, that's not too bad. If you said Xbox and Zooey Mama, yeah, that's the best version. I need it. I'm happy I'm getting an Xbox so I can experience
I actually had to buy the GameCube edition twice, so it wouldn't look as awkward in my collection. Call me Johnny clone if you want me to, but yeah, it actually looked really awkward in my collection of GameCube games. So I just bought one with the outside and the manual with it.
I gotcha.
That and the disc was actually pretty beaten up. So it's safe to say that the first game I ever really played was Sonic Heroes, and that's me.
Who's next?
I think you're
Uh,
rad, right?
You want me to go?
Yeah, go.
whoever.
You can.
All right. My first like little exposure to Sonic was probably like in 1999. Like I was at a Walmart and they had like one of those like bubble games, where you press the buttons and try to get the rings and do like the
You mean
Yeah, like the little shampoo thing.
yeah, like I remember playing that. But that wasn't really what got me into Sonic. But it was is like I believe it was in kindergarten. I was 5, and my friend Tyler. Well, he's not my friend anymore, but Tyler. He told me about Sonic. I'm like, oh, if I ever see a game, I'll get it. So then 2 years later, I turned 7, and I get a Game Boy Advance, and I bought Sonic Battle, and that was pretty much my first Sonic game I ever played was Sonic Battle, and I really, really enjoyed it. And then what happened was I got a GameCube, and then I bought Sonic Adventure 2, and that was sort of like the it factor that made me say like, yeah, I'm going to follow this series, and I'm going to love it forever.
That's nice. It's odd you started with Sonic Battle because I fucking hate that. It's not bad, but okay.
Yo.
The story mode is bad. The story mode is bad. The story mode is bad. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
The story mode is horrible.
I liked
true.
I liked the game, but like you said, oh, I hate that game, and I was like, are you kidding me, dude? That's a good one.
It's not too bad, but like I hate the fucking story mode. The story mode's terrible.
Then again, I lost my copy and I haven't played it since like 2000.
Have you played the story mode first of all? You have to like fight. You have to fight someone, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not." You have to fight someone, and you got to take them down for 5 lives, right? And then you fight that same person, and like there's a dialogue. It's like, "Oh, I'm not done yet," and you fight the same person, except this time you got to knock them out 10 times.
Oh yeah, I
so
hated
true.
that.
But,
I really hated that.
I guess to finish off the story, like after like Sonic Adventure 2, like then the next year after that, Sonic X came out. I started watching that. Then my brother gave me his old VHS tapes of like the adventures of Sonic, and then that's when I just started to follow the series as a whole. I started reading the Archie comics. I started playing the Mega Collection, and then James Collection came out. And I guess that's pretty much my entire story. So, all right, who's next?
Brandon, I think.
Well then, how it started with Sonic? It started from this guy I knew named Bradley. He was like a couple years older than I am. Went to the same school and whatnot. He told me about this series called Sonic, of course. Oddly enough, though, I didn't actually fell in love with Sonic per se. I actually like the other characters more, like Shadow the Hedgehog, for example, and Knuckles and so forth. But eventually, like I think like a year later or so, I eventually got a PS2 and I picked up like a ton of games, and some of them were Sonic games. I think the very, very first Sonic game I ever played was Sonic Heroes, but it was a demo really on PC.
On PC, nice.
Oh no, the worst version.
Oh yeah, it is the worst version. I forgot.
It was a demo, so
it's one of those rare moments where it's actually worse on the PC than it is on console. But this is back then.
One of those instances
for a while back.
One of those instances
just,
where it's the console master race.
Let him speak, guys.
I'm sorry.
I played the full version of the PC for like I think 2 years ago, and it was choppy.
Very choppy. But hey, you still have it. Like, do you still have it, the PC version?
I could get it somewhere.
I mean, like, if
where I got it from.
If you still have it, or like you know where to find it, like that shit is rare. I'm pretty sure, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure if it didn't get a box release, then yeah, it should be.
I think it did, but it's kind of like faded because of obscurity. But you can continue.
I didn't have much else because if I go full story, I'll be here all day. But long story short, I played a lot of Sonic games on PS2.
You played the you played the worst version still.
Oh no!
Oh no!
The frame rate riddled ones. Why?
I remember when Brendan can vouch for me really here, but I remember when I played. We used to play. I had I've been playing Shadow the Hedgehog not all my life, but like I know how it feels. But when one of my friends brought over Shadow the Hedgehog for PlayStation 2 to for like our college campus or our guild, he brought it over just for the jokes, and Brendan and I played it a lot. But when we tried the PS2 version, oh my god, everything looked worse and everything felt worse. Oh man, PS.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though?
What?
That's the version I put the most time in for any Sonic related game.
Oh.
Was that or the Sonic Rider games.
You sad man.
I mean, the
I actually
writers.
had fun with it.
The writers' games weren't too bad on PS2. I mean, like Zero Gravity is actually playable on PS2.
That's true.
Just because you have a normal controller, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you
that's
can
what I was
use a
thinking.
GameCube controller as well on the Wii, so.
not the Wii U though. You have to use. You can't even use the classic controller.
Tony, the cool part
That is
about
scary.
the cool part about your friend bringing the Shadow to Guild or whatever was that, oddly enough, it was actually crazy fun playing with all those people because we were all playing it pretty much for the joke.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Oh yeah, I can vouch for this too. It was actually quite hilarious.
It was.
Yeah.
I was just across the room, right? Just doing
Jacob
something
had
else. I don't remember what I was
Jacob had like a PS. He had a SpongeBob PlayStation 2 controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this now.
That was funny.
It was that
great time.
doing that was quite fun. It was quite hilarious.
Yeah, like we made jokes about Shadow for a couple of days, but I forgot what the joke was because it's been like a year since that happened.
That's the thing, man.
2
Like, if
years
you're playing by
actually. I'm
yourself-
pretty sure.
Wait, 2 years?
Technically 2 years. Well, not yet 2
Oh,
years.
right, because that was
Two-
actually around the first time I met you. So,
Yeah.
close to 2 years.
Shadow the Hedgehog 2. Anyway.
I remember I constantly bitched
Where's
about the
Shadow?
frame rate.
Yeah, the frame rate was awful.
It was bad. Like you know me, I run at 144 hertz monitor, right?
Mhm.
It was like watching. It was like watching a camel try to. I don't know. I'm
Don't
not
say
gonna
it.
finish this.
It
I'm
was-
not gonna.
It
Finish
was
this.
like watching a fish grow legs.
We
See,
did.
man?
It was like
Okay.
watching a camel try to swim. It was ridiculous.
That's an interesting analogy.
Wow.
Welcome Narrows to the stream.
Anyway, yeah.
Hey, Narrows, we didn't even...
And
we haven't
all right,
finished the first one yet. It's your turn.
but she's gone. I think the
thought
next
you left.
one, Tony. The next one.
Yes, the next one is actually what is your opinion on the jumps from the 2D games, the classic Sonic games, and to the 3Ds and now? Since now we're back in 2D, even four forces. Okay. All gripes aside,
Can I start this one?
Fine.
Yeah, we'll have a round table.
Fine. Go ahead.
All right. Well, when Sonic first jumped into 3D, I felt like he had a really good start with the two adventure games. I felt like he really had like this really good formula for a 3D Sonic game. But then, of course, Sonic Heroes came out, and that's sort of where I felt like the problem happened. Like they started changing, the formula. I mean, the core gameplay was still there. It was just like it was a different way to do it. With Heroes, they had the team-based gameplay, and I consider the Heroes like the last like good or at least decent 3D game before the dark age of Sonic happened, which started with Shadow the Hedgehog, and so somewhere between Shadow and Heroes, that was sort of like where I felt like Sonic Team was sort of like in like a struggle to figure out like how to make. I think they forgot what made the Adventure series like fun and like what made the original series fun, and then of course it came after Shadow, which was pretty much the rock bottom for them. But luckily they did learn. They did learn from their mistakes, and then they took a page from the Rush series and made a new completely 3D. I guess you can kind of consider it 2.5 because a lot of times they'll be forward and sideways, but it was a new gameplay style, and it was a style I actually really liked, and luckily a lot of people actually really liked it, and they saw that, and then they made Colors, which refined the formula, which Colors was fantastic. Then Generations I felt was like the peak of perfection with that formula they did, and then of course then they screwed up again by changing it again with Lost World. And then, of course, what happened after Lost World, we all know what that happened then. But now I feel like they realize their mistakes and they're going back to like they realize if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I guess sort of like the jump to 3D, which is hard, especially for everybody back then, to jump from 2D to 3D. The reason why it was so easy for Mario was because all they had to do was take a 2D square and make it into a 3D cube, whereas Sonic's levels were different. Sonic's levels were filled with corkscrews and loop-de-loops and stuff like that, stuff to keep the speed going. So when they brought Sonic to 3D, I thought they did a clever way. They basically designed roller coasters, pretty much. They designed like level tracks and stuff like that, which were similar to like building a roller coaster. That's why I always looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess so. Again, he had a good start. Sort of lost his way in the middle. But now I feel like he's slowly, coming back. Because again, I still really love the gameplay style that they have now that Generations and Unleashed brought to the table, and I am happy to see that to get more of it. All right, I guess I'm done.
Cool.
Someone else who actually lived to see through the original 2D Sonic days. Go.
Brendan is probably the only one.
Well, not gonna lie, I didn't play a 3D Sonic game until like 2004 because I only had a Nintendo 64 up until then. But anyways, I guess I can try. Let's see. My first experience with 3D Sonic, I actually didn't even know this until I got Adventure DX. Because as soon as I started it up, I was like, this looks familiar. But once upon a time, my dad had worked at Rentway, and they had a Sega Dreamcast up with Sonic Adventure. So I actually did get to play that, and like, as a kid, it blew my mind. I was like, I really want this. This is really cool. I want to continue playing this. And then whenever I got my GameCube and I saw that opening, I was like, whoa, is this a game I played as a kid? Yo! And I just played through that. I ended up getting Sonic Adventure 2 before I even finished it. And I played through both of them pretty much swapping off between them because I was like, this one's good in some ways, this one's good in other ways. It was like, as a kid, it was freaking awesome. As an adult, like, they're not the greatest, I'll admit, but I still enjoy them. Let me just go ahead and preface that all the 3D Sonics I liked as a kid. Okay, let's be realistic here. But as an adult, I can, easily say which ones are good or bad. Heroes, I think, is decent. It could be.
Heroes, I think, is okay at its very best.
Right, like it's not bad, but it does a lot of things that make me not good at the same time. Does that make sense?
The problem with it is like the problem with Heroes is like they designed it for platforming, but like the problem is the characters goes really fast and it just didn't work out.
Right.
Oh.
But Shadow, I honestly don't. I don't understand why I like Shadow as a kid.
Sonic.
It's just,
Sonic. I know you can hear. No, he moved me. What an asshole.
What is it?
It's Sonic Mania. It's 2 zones and then the boss, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
2 zones. 2 zones and then and during the second act, boss.
Oh, so there's no third zone.
No third
The second
zone.
zone itself is the boss.
Yeah, it's second. You have second zone. You play through a level, and it's actually both. But actually both acts have a boss.
Oh, so there's more boss. Holy shit! Really? So it's actually more game. It's actually just more game. All right, thank you.
No problem.
Holy shit.
All right, we're recording the Sonic podcast, so I'm gonna have to go back to that.
All right, bye.
I then got a Wii and Sonic and the Secret Rings.
That game
Oh
sucks.
god.
That game is pretty bad looking.
Rings
upon
fucking
playing it.
sucks.
It's pretty.
Make believes reborn.
That being
God.
said, the
No,
soundtrack
just
is lit.
don't.
The soundtrack for Secret Games is lit though, like for real.
Except for the one main theme song to hear over and over and over again.
Fair, but still my point. Nevertheless, then I got Black Knight. That was actually kind of decent. Not gonna lie. Now it's my favorite game in the series. Now that I know you can play Unknown for Me from Sonic Adventure in any stage you want with the medallion.
Best medallion.
I'm kidding about favorite game, obviously, but you know. But yeah, last I played it, it wasn't too bad. It's just kind of okay. Unleashed. This is where Tony kills me. The Wii and PS2 version is all right, but the PS3 and 360 version is a masterpiece.
Excuse me, I can't hear you over your Werehog stages that run at 3 frames per second.
And I can't hear you over your bad Werehog stages.
Hey, at least they're functional and they actually are fun. Remember that time when you played Punch Out with Dark Gaia? Did you remember the time you played actual fucking Punch Out with Dark Gaia and Light Gaia? That shit was hype.
Ugh, I don't know.
The
Like
HD version is better. I agree with you.
Here's the thing: the HD version,
Hedgehog
I like
engine.
it in almost every way except in two things. One, which is what Tony just mentioned, the frame rate. The frame rate is bad.
The other gripe with the Werehog stages is like they go on forever. Other than that, I think
They were way too long.
They overstay their welcome by a lot.
The Werehog stages in the Wii version take freaking ever, in my opinion. Like they take a long time in the HD version too, but it ain't that bad to be honest. Compared to the Wii one, at least. Like with the Wii, it's like 30 minutes.
Just play Eggman Land.
But we also have to talk about the fact that Unleashed is still the fastest Sonic has ever been in a game.
Oh yeah, of course. Like I played Sonic Generations, and then I played that, and I was like, "Holy crap! How fast is this going?"
Like it's amazing. Not to mention, it's still the best looking game in the series.
Right.
The Hedgehog engine is beautiful by every means.
I feel like Sonic Team was afraid that like after the failure that was Sonic 06, that Sonic Unleashed might have been their last hurrah with Sonic, and I think that's why they went all out with like graphics and presentation.
It's actually very likely that is not exactly what they think. Back to what I said about the engine just looking absolutely amazing. You could put Portal 2 or any like newer Valve game in it, it would just kick Source ass in every single way.
Wait,
Sound,
are we talking about empty
graphics.
framework?
Just
the Hedgehog
engine.
No, the fucking Hedgehog engine. All it does is like, it just lets us render shit like at future shit. So like you make fast-paced gameplay for Sonic, but if you put on those fucking, if you take off those fucking training wheels, the engine just shits itself.
Still looks very beautiful.
Yeah, of course. But I didn't get to play the HD version until like 2013, so it don't matter.
I played it when it first came out.
Some people may not believe me on this. I actually never played the HD version.
Dude, it's a good one, but it's expensive.
I know.
Or does it
Like $20 expensive.
It's $20 expensive.
Look! You have to look at this in the context of a video game collector. $20 is a lot to a video game collector.
Especially if they don't know, like, if the people selling it don't know the actual value of it.
Oh, exactly. Like, if it was $10, I'd jump on it.
Yeah, like, Deadmau5. Off topic, but Deadmau5, like, in his bedroom, which is where he makes all of his music, there's, like, a bunch of keyboards and stuff lying around. Sometimes, like, very rare 1970s synthesizers were, like, $20, and people didn't even know what they were. Back then, those would be, like, $200 new. Now it's, like, thousands of dollars. Back on topic.
Okay, let me get back on track with our beautiful timeline of Sonic the Hedgehog 3D games. Sonic Colors comes out. I buy it around launch, despite the fact that I finished it pretty much in a day I still really liked it. I was like, I want more of this. Because, like, the last couple of Sonic games, even though I liked Unleashed on the Wii back then, I was like, the last couple of Sonic games kind of burned, and this one was just like, this one was pretty much good throughout. Please, let's keep it like this. Then they announced Generations, and I was like, classic and modern, baby. And then no Wii announcement, so I had to save up money for the Xbox.
Luckily, I already had one.
Um,
I actually didn't,
so a month
I actually didn't get a
after-
Wii until. Ironically, I got a Wii by the time you got an Xbox, and I had an Xbox by the time you had a Wii. So.
Yeah.
Something interesting as well. Portal 2 and Sonic Generations were my first games for the Xbox 360 when I got it back in Christmas. Like 15 years ago.
Great. That's great.
That's
Dude,
great.
great.
Can you? That's great. This is not a Portal 2 podcast, though.
I know.
Off topic.
I just mentioned Portal 2 earlier, so I just thought I'd mention it
James,
again.
off topic. Those were my first two. The exact
Nice.
same games. Okay, anyways. So I played Sonic Generations, and it was freaking awesome. It was like the best Sonic game I had ever played. As far as 3D Sonic goes, like, I was just like, let me sum it up like this. I loved it so much, I've probably put over 100 hours on just the 360 version. Like, whenever I was bored, I'd just pop in some green, jump into modern Green Hill Zone or any of the modern stages and just see how fast I could beat them. That's how much I love that game. And it took up until, like, I want to say last year until I finally stopped playing it. But Generations, I really liked it. Then Lost World happened. I didn't get it until a year later because I didn't have a Wii U at the time. But then I got a Wii U for Smash, and I thought I'd throw Lost World in there, and it was okay. Like, I liked it and hated it at the exact same time. That's the easiest way to sum up Lost World. Didn't play the Boom games until a year after their release. Rise of Lyric is a dumpster fire of a game. Holy crap. I did not believe people when they said it was awful. And then I played it. Wow.
Can't wait for Sonic Synergy.
And Shattered Crystal, it actually wasn't that bad. It's just that you have to backtrack, and that doesn't work in a Sonic game. Fire and Ice was much better, I'll admit. I'm not going to talk about that much, though, because that's technically 2D, but whatever. And, of course, we've got Forces, but we're just going to... I'm not going to talk about that yet. Who's next? That's up for me.
I guess I am. The debate that Sonic should be. I think that Sonic Team, as much as I love Sonic Adventure, I feel like they lost their way. And the way of sort of, if you look at something, say Sonic Adventure, most of that is very automated, right? There's some exploration elements going on, and a lot of Sonic's gameplay is pretty good. But at the same time, it doesn't compare to, like, say, something like Sonic Utopia, which is like a perfect recreation of classic Sonic in 3D, because mostly the environments were big and the way the level design works. And it's just like, I feel that I know Sonic Team is just trying to make good games, but they're mostly just trend following, if you know what I mean. They usually just trend follow by, seeing what works, what sells well, or what's gonna get them the good clicks, or
Sort of like how Unleashed was made, because like that was the fad at the time of like Good and Evil, like Twilight Princess and games like that.
Yeah, and then with, like, say, we'll get the Forces later, but it's like they keep falling into, like, a misconception of what the fans want, and understandably, I get why, because the fucking fan base doesn't know what they want either.
Yeah,
Well,
of course.
if I can say something, Takashi Iizuka says that when making a Sonic game, he says like it's nearly impossible to please everybody, because he says like every time he gives one half what they want, the other half complains.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a double-edged sword, personally, and it just, yeah.
Yeah.
I personally think something like Sonic Utopia should be the aim, but like that's just a far off dream. That's probably never going to happen.
Yeah, that like the fact Sonic Utopia even exists as an indie game, especially, is pretty amazing when you think about it. Because like that game is huge, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it'd probably take Sonic Team or Sega or whoever would handle a title like that a really long time, to be honest, to tackle something that big. Like if they just straight up went on Sonic Utopia, if that makes sense.
Right.
Or they could pull a Valve and just hire the team outright and just say, make this for us, and we'll release it under our name.
Like Mania.
I mean, they technically did that with Mania, yeah.
Yeah. But like the like they did with Mania, but with the developers of Sonic Utopia, I would like to see that, honestly.
Right.
I would buy it full price, even pre-order it. But that's coming from a guy who never pre-orders anything. So who's next in this conversation?
Only 3 people have talked so far.
Well, I mean, I could talk, but I can't at the same time because I have to look at it at the current standpoint that I have now. Because I recently just looked back through all the games, like all the 3D games. I recently fully played through on the consoles and stuff because God, I love the game. I love the GameCube controller when doing the old Sonic games.
Mm-hmm.
So when I just recently played back through those, and something stood out to me, and it wasn't just the old writing and the voice acting. Brian Drummond did a good job, by the way. It's just it felt a little sluggish, but a little too fast. It was like it was all over the place in terms of writing and story. But that's the only way that I could look at him because I never really paid attention to that when I was younger. I just, hey, the Sonic game just run right through it and go fast. That was pretty much just me for a long time. So the only thing that I can look at now is just how the story just not the lore, but just in each game how the story just has its up and downs, and how the whole games in general just had their ups and downs moment, like you three have mentioned earlier with Sonic Shadow the Head. Like Sonic Heroes was good, like that was kind of the between that and Adventure 2 was the apex, and then it kind of went back downhill with Shadow and Sonic 06. And it kind of went back up, and then just kind of it just kind of plateaued after Lost World. Then went straight back down. It's all over. It's like an emotional roller coaster of an emo 13-year-old teenager, to be honest. Just imagine that, but in a gigantic video game yeah. Just imagine that, but a giant video game franchise. And you can see that in Unleashed, how that was just, the game was great. I loved it, even on the Wii version. Haven't played the 360 version, so I can't really speak for it. But I liked what I played on the Wii version, despite it being the inferior version from what I've seen. I liked it. It was a great game. That's really all I can say about it. I can't really look at it.
If Sonic had end at Unleashed, I would have been satisfied. I mean, I guess I would have. If Unleashed was the absolute last.
Yeah. But like I keep on saying, and I feel like a broken record at this point, but I can really only look at it from the point of view that I can see today because I just recently played back through all of them. That's my thoughts on it. And somebody got it wrong. It's jumped to 3D then and now. So unless Brandon wants to speak, I guess the next thing was, what did you think then and what do you think now? What do you think then?
Oh Lord. Okay, well, I just make mine pretty brief. I actually did start with the 3D games. Then eventually I got my hands on the Mega Collection on PS2. They had all the classic games. I enjoyed 3 a lot. But to make it brief, I actually do. I'm the one of the few that actually do enjoy Shadow Hedgehog because I did like the character like when I was younger though. But if I play it now, I pretty sure I will hate the game. I enjoyed the Writers games, of course. Sonic Unleashed, I had the PS2 version of that game. I had a lot of fun with it. But the HD version is better, though, especially the combat for the warehouse levels. But the warehouse levels themselves are way too long. So I haven't played any Sonic games past the not including the the HD remakes or whatever. I have Generations on PC though, but I can't play it at a stable frame rate, unfortunately. No, that's about it, honestly.
So briefly touch on thoughts then, like if you experienced this whole jump when you were younger, just say your thoughts. Which is probably only one or two people.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't jump back into Sonic until GameCube, so like, not really a huge opinion. I kind of already said my thoughts on that a little bit whenever I pretty much went on my huge tirade.
Yeah, tirade.
Like
40 minutes long video right now, and counting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Quite long.
Right. Okay. But yeah, too long didn't read since I already said it already. So 2D to 3D, it blew my mind as a kid whenever I saw it on the Dreamcast. Whenever I played it on the GameCube, I freaking loved it. But today, games like the Sonic Adventure, I don't consider like the Sonic Adventure games to be as good as I remembered them. They're still fine. I don't think they're bad or anything.
2 was overrated.
Yeah, I agree to an extent, but whatever. But that's all I've got, I'd say.
Anything else before we move on?
Not that I can think of.
All right. So I mentioned this twice in the original documentation before we basically actually touched on it was thoughts on Sonic Adventure 2, but we'll just move right into the next question is favorite post-adventure 3D Sonic game?
So like after the 2 adventure games?
After the 2 adventure games.
Who wants to start?
Yeah, shoot, I'll do it. Honest to God, I mean, shoot, I kind of already spoiled it earlier. Yeah. Honest to God, mine is definitely Sonic Generations. Like, not only, in my opinion, not only is it like the perfect anniversary title, it's also like the perfect 3D Sonic game. Like, the 3D gameplay is like absolutely perfected. So you can move really fast to find lots of different location, like find different ways to get to the end of the goal. And like for someone like me who likes to challenge myself, like time wise, speed running wise, like it's really awesome that way, you know, to trying to beat your old times and stuff like that. Honestly, the only thing I don't really like about it, or should I say tolerate, because it ain't actually that bad, the classic Sonic stuff, because like the spin dash is really broken. Pathetically broken. But not only that, it's not only that, it's the fact that like compared to the old classic Sonic games, it just doesn't feel like the same. I don't really understand what people say when it's like, oh, it plays just like the classics, and I'm like, I mean, I guess I can see that, but it feels so different to me. I don't know, but yeah, that's honestly my favorite. Like, especially the PC version. Like, the mods on the PC version are just amazing in both the best and worst ways. That's just
Tony just got back, but we're on favorite post-adventure 3D Sonic game. So who's going up next?
I'll go, I guess.
Right.
I think favorite post 3D adventure Sonic game, I would say Mania, but I haven't beaten it yet. But I'm guessing
that's not a 3D game.
I mean, it has 3D. Did you not play the special stages?
Yeah, he's not wrong. It does have 3D special stages.
Anyways, if I'm gonna,
and it is post-adventure.
Yeah, if I'm gonna say post-adventure, it's fucking Black Knight. It's fucking Black Knight.
This is a joke.
No, it's not.
No, he's actually not kidding.
I actually fucking love Black Knight, and like, oh, people are gonna say, oh, you don't care about Sonic Heroes. Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generations. Yeah, but one thing those games didn't have was consistency. Same thing with Secret Lanes too. That barely had any sort of consistency. Black Knight is, I feel like, is one of those games. Despite the controls, which is like you can say like controls are just you need if the control doesn't work, then automatically means bad game. But no, I personally think that Black Knight has its controls are for me. I can able to fit in because it's really not that hard. First of all, because
The controls is really just they took Secret Rings controls and just put it on a joystick.
they took Secret Rings control and put them on a joystick, and for the sword, it was just an added gameplay mechanic that actually helps fit into the and like Sonic's abilities work because giving Sonic a gun is stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Or even getting Shadow a gun was even more stupider and made the Shadow try to appeal to the edgy crowd.
To be fair, the gun gameplay was probably the best thing about Shadow because that was the only thing that worked.
And with giving Sonic a sword actually works. It's not like, oh, this is just some dumb gimmick. This is a gimmick that actually fucking works. Because if you're gonna give a speed character any sort of weapon, a sword would be probably the first thing you'd think of because and the way Sonic does his homing attack, there's different ways you can mix that into, but in the ways of how he does his how he rolls up into a ball, but if you add a sword into that, it can lead to a lot of devastation. But with the gameplay, I feel like it was very simple, very easy to learn, and very easy to master. But it wasn't like an easy game the entire way through. And there were some bullshit parts, I will admit. Like the dragon thing, I didn't really know the dragon boss fight, which was not good. But other than that, I can still find a lot of enjoyment out of playing Black Knight. It's one of those games that some reason, liked and still like to this day. Even I even played it recently and still had a really good time. I don't know why, but I just freaking adore Black Knight.
So, who wants to speak next? If not, I'll.
I can go.
Okay, I'll go after you.
Well, post 3D adventure, I guess in many ways I want to say Sonic Generations the same as but I think I'm gonna go with Sonic Colors, mainly because one thing I felt like Sonic Colors had was Sonic Colors. I'm actually gonna quote Tony's video here. It felt like a clean slate. Like it was the premise was cool, and it was very simple. It kind of went back to the roots, but it was just Sonic, Tails, and Eggman, and the settings were awesome. It's definitely one of the best looking Wii games you can get. I'm still hoping that they can make like a PC port of Colors one day, but I doubt they will.
Nah,
You can emulate it on Dolphin with 1080p, 60 frames
Yeah,
per second.
yeah. You can even make it go faster than that.
Yeah,
I've made
144
it
for
happen.
me.
Yeah, but anyway, with Colors, they took the Unleashed gameplay. I guess you could say they trimmed the fat, and the levels were fun to traverse around. And of course they added the Wisp, and the Wisp were actually really fun to use, except for I guess the block one, because the block one I kind of just felt like eh.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was just a fun. I actually consider Colors sort of like the picture perfect Sonic game, just like everything I wanted out of a Sonic game. Fun, the story wasn't overly complicated. It had humor, it had it had a lot of heart to it.
Man, that sounds exactly like Sonic and the Black Knight story.
It does, yeah.
But so that would be my favorite if I had to choose a post adventure 3D game to be my favorite.
Colors.
Yeah, Colors.
Just
Colors
mine
feel
too.
so
Mine too, but I'll explain why I like it so much as I do. So, like I said, one of my first 3D Sonic games was Sonic Heroes. So it's kind of like, not just because it's my first game, but because it was my favorite game Then Colors came out. And like you said, it's kind of like they trimmed the fat, but they trimmed the fat and cooked it just how I like a steak, medium rare. The gameplay element just goes perfectly with it, for me anyway.
I love how you
It
put
just-
that, too. That was actually...
It just works. And it may, like, sometimes the reason I don't go back to it is the overabundance of 2D, like 2D side-scrolling platform. Not really 2D, because the game's a 3D game. It's just a 2D side-scroller parts. The overabundance of that kind of turns me off of it, but the gameplay elements and just the story in general kind of overleap that, like, make me want to come back to it. But I just can't because the Wii is collecting dust, and I don't think it'll run anymore. But yeah, like Jordan said, it trimmed the fat. It was a clean slate, like Tony said, and then it's cooked medium rare. That's why I like it so much. Anybody else want to go? I guess not.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
Oh,
What
okay.
question is this again?
Brent, this is your favorite post-adventure 3D Sonic game, and why?
I actually don't even have a favorite though, but if I had to pick, it'll probably be Unleashed because I'm an action junkie.
Like he likes games like Devil May
Yes.
Cry, God
Yeah.
of War, those kind of games.
Yeah. And
We can move on.
all right, so we're gonna be moving on, and I don't want to get into any big discussion with this next one. So I wish, unless Tony wants to, I'm not. This is his podcast, and he's back now. So let's hopefully this can be brief. Should Sonic Adventure 3 be made?
That was quick.
I don't even want to give an answer to this one.
I'm going to piss off. You want me to do it?
First person to say anything will just go ahead, just do it. Get this one over
Alright.
with.
Here's the thing. We already got Sonic Adventure 3. It just
Here we
sucked.
go again.
We got plenty of them.
That was basically Sonic 06 like game, but it just sucked.
If you're wondering why I say here we go again, it's because he said the same exact thing in the 6 Idiots Play Sonic Sonic the Hedgehog video. Please go watch that if you have the time. It's a great
Yeah,
video. I'm
it's-
not saying that because
it's a-
I made it.
It's a
Just take it from these other
masterpiece.
people.
That's true though. Like I said,
Anybody else want to add on to this conversation?
Oh boy.
Make it very brief.
Trust me, I'll try. This isn't because this is actually kind of a tricky one to answer. Not gonna lie. Like, here's the thing. Like Jordan said, it's technically already been made. Though I'll debatably say that it's already technically been made 3 times. Not only Sonic 06, there was also Sonic Heroes, which, honest to God, I considered that Sonic Adventure 3 for the longest time. Like, it was Sonic Adventure 3 in all but name, as far as I was concerned. And Sonic Unleashed, but that's only because its beta name was Sonic Adventure 3. So...
well, in Japan it's called Sonic World Adventure.
Right. But, like, its development name was Sonic Adventure 3. Should it be made? I don't know. If it happens, cool. Because, like, I loved the adventure games as a kid, and if, like, they can make a Sonic Adventure 3 and make it good using the old gameplay foundation, that's fine with me. Like, right now, I honestly don't care. Just make a good Sonic game, for God's sakes. But if it happens, it happens. Whatever. Just make it good.
I feel like it shouldn't be made. Because, and I'm not going to say it happened with Sonic Mania, because it did, and it lived up to it, but hype. If somebody figured out that Sonic Adventure 3 was actually going to be made, and it was actually going to be a Sonic Adventure 3, with that type of gameplay style, with the 15.5 different play styles, with 50,000 different characters if they want to do that, it won't live up to it. I mean, Sonic team, they haven't been able to do it. Yeah, same thing is going to happen to Half-Life 3. Unpopular opinions, but yeah, they really shouldn't make it. It won't live up to the hype, and I will eat my words if it does live up to the hype. If they make it, which they probably won't. But if it does come out and it lives up to the hype in 2,000 years, I will, from my grave, give Tony $100. I will do this. And Tony can buy a new laptop if he wants to. Or maybe some good internet. I don't know. So, anybody else wants to answer this question? If not, we'll go on to the next one. And that one is, has Sonic's cool attitude resonated with you, or do you find the 90s cool vibe cringy?
Really?
Really?
Who came up with this one question?
Interesting question.
I'll start this. For me, it's not a 90s cool vibe. It's a more of a, hi, I'm Sonic, I'm a douchebag, I'm going to kick your shit in type vibe. But I guess that was back then the 90s cool vibe. So it kind of makes it a full circle, I guess. Maybe a half moon, I don't know. But no, it hasn't resonated with me. Hashtag bring back Ryan Drummond. Actually, me and him share a birthday. Fun fact over. Continue.
I got a tweet from him, so.
So twice.
Okay.
Let's see. I guess I'll go next. Whatever. I don't know. Like, as a kid, maybe the cool attitude resonated with me. I mean, I was one of those cringy kids that ran around with my hands behind my back, like because I saw Sonic do it.
I did that too.
So I guess so. Unlike most people, though, it wasn't because of Naruto. It was because of Sonic. Because I didn't watch Naruto. But that's not
me neither. Like that's how I used to run on the playground. That too.
Believe it.
But like, I guess so. Now, it depends. Like, in some instances, I'm like, I can see how this can be cool, but other times, it's just like, okay, this is clearly a product of the 90s, that's the best way to sum it up in some cases, as far as I'm concerned. Like, there's nothing bad about it, as far as I'm concerned. Because, like, admittedly, his attitude and stuff is kind of what makes Sonic Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Take that. If you take that away from Sonic, it's just like
you get
feels off.
You get Lost Forces. No, not Lost Forces. Lost World. I'm too tired. Lost World Sonic.
But I'm tired too. I've switched the scenes like twice while we were talking. Go ahead.
But like I don't necessarily think it's cringy. Like there's certain where I might think this, but whatever. I don't. But like, I guess that's all I gotta say. Probably didn't articulate that well, but whatever.
Want me to go?
If you want to.
All right. Well, there's something I actually noticed throughout the years. I noticed that every time Sonic's voice actor changed, a little bit of the personality changed. Like Jaleel White was definitely that 90s. Hey, I'm 90s. Hey, way past cool. But with Ryan Drummond, he sort of had that still mannerisms, but it was more like a fun-loving, adventure-seeking, can't bring me down portrayal. Then Jason Griffith came in, and his was more sort of like more of a noble, more heroic Sonic. And then when Roger Craig Smith came in, it kind of went back. He became like this wisecracking and cocky, arrogant Sonic, and that's what I noticed at least. Like every time the voice actor changed, there's a little bit of a shift I notice.
That's something I forgot to mention too. For me, it depended on the voice actor. Like when I heard Ryan Drummer and Jason Griffin, I was like, hey, that's Sonic. And then when I listened to Roger Craig Smith for the first time, I was like, hey, douchebag, shut the hell up. Really, that was my response. I said it out loud. But
as for if the personality resonated with me, Actually, yeah, because like growing up, I was a kid who was I was a very shy kid. I didn't really talk to people. I didn't really stuff because my brother was the confident one. My sister was the smart one. I didn't know what I was, but so I started playing Sonic and sort of like that confidence that he. I was sort of a kid who needed Sonic's personality because he sort of taught me how to like, don't be afraid to take chances and that's when I started talking to more people and stuff like that. When I started playing Sonic games. It's like I just kept thinking to myself, I want to be like Sonic. I want to be able to, show the world what I can do. And so that's what pretty much resonated in me ever since.
Nice. I may need to cut this podcast short because I'm getting a little tired, but at the same time.
We can briefly. We only have like really 4 questions left.
Okay.
Does Brandon want to
pretty
go?
much.
We can try to briefly touch on them because we already did the bulk of them. Go ahead.
No, I got nothing on Sonic. I'm more of a Shadow fan since I was a kid, so yeah.
Oh yeah, all right. So without continuing that question, favorite Sonic voice actor?
Like just Sonic specifically, or was like,
for the character and then for the whole series.
All right. If I'm gonna say the character, I'm gonna have to go with Jason. Mostly because I grew up with him.
For me, my favorite voice was always Ryan Drummond's. I felt like the design that the modern Sonic brought fit perfectly well with Drummond's voice.
Oh, nice.
And again, it was just the attitude and like the confidence and like the it factor that I felt Ryan brought to the table. Not to say that all the other ones are bad. Like I only think there's only like one bad voice actor for Sonic. 2 if you count the bad PC Schoolhouse game.
God.
Like I said, I love Roger Craig Smith as a person. He just doesn't fit as Sonic.
To be fair, I think in Boom, his voice fits perfectly well because Sonic,
yeah, especially in Boom.
Because like the design, it's very older, it's more taller, it fits perfectly well in Boom.
And he's more wittier in that one.
Exactly. So in Boom, I think Roger's perfect.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love him doing Boom Sonic. I love him doing anything else but video game Sonic, like we've done. In my opinion, anyway. Yeah, but back Ryan Drummond, because he was in my second favorite game, Heroes, and mostly just because I've heard his voice a lot more. Really never got to play a game with Jason Griffith in it, and every single time I go back to a Sonic game, it's normally one with Roger Craig Smith. But every time I want to experience what I liked as a child, I'd go back to playing Heroes on the GameCube or just playing Adventure on my PC. So I'm hearing Ryan Drummond's voice a lot more, and I just learned to love it. And me and him share a birthday. Second time I mentioned that fact, and we're going to stop mentioning this fact now. January 10th. Go ahead.
Did you know that James and Ryan share a birthday? I didn't know this.
God damn. Okay, go ahead. Next person.
The correct answer. The correct answer for best Sonic voice actor is Jason Griffith. Don't at me.
Don't at me.
Okay,
either.
don't at Shadow Tails fan. And don't at Sonickick _.
Yeah.
Yep.
Going to edit the layout. No, I'm kidding. Don't at this guy. Does Brandon want to speak on this one, or I think he's here?
I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good.
If I'm gonna say for any person, I guess I'd say 4Kids Amy, because I felt like she brought a lot more attitude and uniqueness to the character than.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I have a favorite voice actor. Fun fact, as you know, and Lisa Ortiz as Amy was definitely my favorite voice for Amy.
Yeah, she brought a lot more than than I think anyone else did ever to her character, and yeah.
My favorite, other favorite, well, Ryan Drummond's my favorite voice actor in the Sonic series in its entirety, but who voices Tails now?
Colleen.
I forgot her name.
Colleen something.
Katie Higgins?
No,
That's
not Katie, because I think she's Katie got replaced by Charmy's voice actor. Colleen. Colleen
Colleen Villard, I think.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They both have the same exact voice for Tails.
Kate Higgins.
Kate Higgins. No, Kate.
I just got the year for it. Kate Higgins.
Is it Kate Higgins now for Forces, or is it still?
No, Kate Higgins did it from 2010 to 2013, and Colleen Villard did it from 2014 to present.
Okay.
Colleen Villard also does it for Boom.
Yeah,
to be fair, Colleen, they sound exactly the same.
They sound exactly the same. No one noticed the difference when her voice got replaced for Boom.
Yeah, but I have to say, Kate Higgins. Great.
So many choices. I'm gonna have to go with a tie. All right.
Okay.
Because like Dan Green's Knuckles is literally perfect.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Don't at me.
Don't at him. Don't at him, dudes.
My problem with Dan Green as Knuckles is that was when the start of when they started treating Knuckles as a joke.
I'm fine.
He
with
misses
that,
respectable Knuckles.
Exactly. Whereas Scott Dreyer was the respectable Knuckles, which is why he's my favorite voice for Knuckles.
I have to find the Master Emerald instead of Shuffle Claw.
Are you crazy? What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
I could see Knuckles going like, Michaela, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
I don't know, man. I just think Dan's like the best Knuckles.
I love Dan Green,
know.
but I didn't think he was bad as Knuckles. It's just that I felt Scott was the superior one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. Then again, I really like Dan Green, so that might explain it. I don't know.
Anybody else? We'll move on.
I think we're good to move on.
Yeah, all right. Any other genre of games would you think that Sonic the Hedgehog could fit under?
Gosh, I don't know.
The invalid answer for this one is fighting, because it just didn't work out. It was a good meme, it just didn't work out too well.
What about Sonic?
Cloud clone. Needs to be like Call of Duty.
What about Battle,
yeah, speed of sound, shooting people in the face. That actually.
A first-person Shadow the Hedgehog game. Imagine that.
I'd play that. Shadow the Hedgehog
I
VR.
would too. That sounds awesome.
I wouldn't touch it with a 100-foot pole.
You don't know. I'd force the fucking VR headset on you, bitch.
Yo, if it had VR support, I'd totally be down for it.
I'd totally be down for motion sickness going around at 768 miles an hour.
Man.
I can't really think of any other genres because like I mean he's had an RPG, he's had a racing game, he's had a fighting games. I don't know what else he could be in.
I don't think he really fit under any other ones than they've tried and successfully done. Like with the racing, screw Sonic R, Sonic and All Stars Racing.
Yo, what? I mean, Sonic and All Stars Racing. I agree, but Sonic R was good, yo.
The only thing I like about Sonic R is the soundtrack. In fact, it's my favorite Sonic soundtrack in the series.
Of course.
Sonic R is garbage. Garbage.
But my favorite racing games was the first two Riders.
Heck yes.
Yeah, those were pretty good.
I felt like Riders was like a unique...
Free Riders was garbage.
I know.
Yeah.
And that pissed me off too because like that was the game where they finally did the World Grand Prix. The thing that the other two games have been building up.
And it got butchered by the stupid ass, dumbass motion controls. I had to say ass twice there because that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, Sonic Riders and Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, PS2 version only. That's the only one I played. Like, I thought they were really cool ways for Sonic to be have his own little Mario Kart without actually being a Mario Kart ripoff.
Sonic on All Stars Racing transformed.
Exactly.
Salty Arcade one of these days.
I've done that before, but no.
Yeah, do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
It'd be the third time, and it's like it'd be a third of our episodes. Oh, so no. Sorry.
All right. So is everybody all answered this question?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's an easy one to be honest.
Yeah. For like, I don't think I've answered it. Okay. Next one, what we've all been waiting for, the very, very brief Mania roundtable discussion. I'm staying out of this one.
Oh, really good.
I don't want to know.
It's really fucking good, but you can't really fucking tell how the game is by spilling it. So just go fucking play the game. It's like $20. It's a masterpiece for your wallet.
It's $20 or $55 if you got that Amazon Prime if you like statues.
I'm not into statues, so
I don't have any room to put a statue.
Exactly.
If you have statues and AA batteries, so you can hear it yell Sega at you, it's only $55.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to pick up Mania until next month. So, but from what I've seen, and I'm really super excited for it. I know it's out now, but I can't wait until I personally play it. I think Christian Whitehead and all those guys really know what they're doing, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
And Sonic Mania is $18 for pre-purchase right now on Steam, coming out, and PC's all coming out on August 29th. So if you guys like Sonic Mania and want to play it at 144 frames per second, just go on and wait for fucking 14 days. God, okay. Yeah, but my favorite EDM artist, Hyper Potions, made promotional music like Time Trials and Friends. I can't stop talking about these two pieces of music. It's just that great. Probably going to turn it into my ringtone.
Hey! This isn't necessarily this isn't necessarily a spoiler because they already showed it to us, but whatever. The little opening animatic, yeah, that actually is the opening to Sonic Forces. So there is Hyper Potions music in the game technically.
Yep, made it into the game.
Yep.
And
so
even though they really didn't make the most of the stage music, that was probably done all in house. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But just because it's in there, I'm probably going to spill out $18 for probably a really, really good game. And I'm happy to do that.
All right.
It's Sonic.
I'm actually almost done with it, and let me tell you, it's probably one of my favorite Sonic games so far.
You want to know something interesting? He just was able to play it 3 hours ago. And
yeah.
He's almost
Whereas Sonickick over here has been playing it since 1 o'clock and made it to just where I stopped to like a couple right before the podcast.
Yeah, while the podcast was on its botched pre-show that I've done, where I failed to communicate with anybody over here. We don't talk about that. That VOD's gone by now. So now they're going to be searching for it. They kept on. They were still playing Mania. They had to abruptly quit because the stream was live. They were going to keep on playing it if we weren't doing a podcast tonight.
Dude, like when I got home and I read that we were doing the podcast, and I was like, "No, I want to play Mania. Why not tomorrow? Why now?"
I would have actually waited until Friday to do it, but if I didn't have an interview, then I would have definitely done it on Friday.
Well, I'm glad we did it now then, because I'm going back home Friday, and I'm going to be staring at my Sonic Mania statues. And good thing we did it today.
And your AA batteries are just gonna go wasting away because Sega.
Exactly.
I'm glad I had a compressor on my microphone there. Actually, I didn't. I lied. So if we're done talking about Sonic Mania, very briefly, I probably should have put this before, but Forces speculations.
It's gonna be all right.
It's good. It's
like 7 out of 10.
I am the tallest of mountains. I am the roughest of days.
The only footage that I've seen was the trailer footage and the actual in-game no UI gameplay footage. Looked pretty good. Nothing like I've ever seen before out of a Sonic game, but just interesting to know the story of it before I make a purchase. Unlike Sonic Mania, where I don't want to hear a single thing before I throw down $18 on this video game and get it in 2 weeks.
I will say this is about Sonic Forces. It does look like they're going to have like a more serious story, which I'm like, it's kind of fresh to go back to that, like sort of like these like. Because that's something I missed was like these sort of epic, grand stories that Adventure
the deep stories.
Adventure 2.
What about Unleash? What? About Unleash, y'all. Did it have a serious story in it?
Because like even though like they weren't like the best well written, they still felt grand. You know what I'm saying? Like things like there was actually stuff at stake with the Adventure.
Properly built up.
Well, to be fair, Sonic Forces is being written by Sega of Japan this time. So we can at least expect it to not be like the silly Baldy McNose hair stuff that we've been getting. So
Baldy. I remember
you
that.
And what mustache?
I laughed. I properly lulled when I saw that the first time.
Yeah, I might kind of go on. I don't think I'll try to keep this as brief as I can, but like this is how I feel about Sonic Forces so far. It feels like Sega is playing it. No, I'm sorry. Sonic Team, I should say, is playing it a bit safe whenever it comes to Sonic and the modern and classic gameplay, at least. That's just me, at least, because it looks like they're trying to just take Sonic Generations again, like tweak a couple things and make a new game on it. Because like, and that's not, and I don't really have a huge issue with that because like Generations was an excellent game. But if it's just Generations again, it might get really boring fast.
Well, here's the thing: if it was like Generations again, where it's like revisiting old levels, I agree with you. But like, if it's completely new levels and new way, then I'd be fine with it.
Right. But like, I don't know. Like, I asked for Generations again, but I didn't want it to be like ridiculously safe Generations. Is what I'm trying to say. And Infinite as a whole is just like the most unintentionally hilarious thing.
Yep.
That I've seen in recent Sonic history. Not gonna lie.
Wait, this is about the Infinite Sonic in 06, right?
No, the new Sonic Forces villain, Infinite.
Oh.
He
and after all,
I heard Infinite and then
you're
just
back for more.
I heard Infinite and thought you were talking about Sonic 06 and the Infinite bug with the Sonic's ring thing. I don't know.
No. Like his theme song literally sounds like something ripped from Linkin Park. It's like the biggest parody I've ever seen in my life.
Is it still too soon to say that though? like you put that on the Lethal Gear Discord, right? And I was like, it's too soon, man. And then you genuinely didn't know that it just happened.
No. What happened was that I totally forgot that. Just I completely forgot that Chester had passed, and I posted that, and you said too soon, and I was like, too soon? What is he talking? Oh, I forgot about that. Right.
Yeah, it was actually
it was
funny.
odd timing.
It was actually kind of a very, very weird moment. Yeah, back to Forces though. I fear for the worst because what they want to do is they want to keep it true to their original style of gameplay, but they want to tweak it a bit so it's different. So you're just not saying, well, I just paid X amount of money for Sonic Generations 2.
There's some rumors going around. It'll be like $40.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that. Wasn't Generations around 30 though?
No, Generations was 40.
No.
Yeah,
when I bought it, it was 30.
Oh.
I don't know. Probably Christmas sale. Maybe I just bought it full price on Steam. I don't know. For a game I already had, yeah. But I fear for the worst. Like I said, they want to tweak it so you're not buying another Generations game, but they want to stay true to its formula. And Well, I don't. My expectations are low because I don't want to hype myself up. Kind of like with Mania, I don't want to have my expectations set so high that when I play it, I'm like, well, I'm disappointed. You want to keep your low expectations, otherwise, and then you get the satisfaction of feeling excited when you get a decent game. I
Hey,
fear the
I have
worst.
low expectations for everything.
Yeah, you get into that grind of having low expectations for like literally everything, and then you're like, yeah, this is better than I expected.
Yeah.
Because of course it is, because your expectations were sometimes rock bottom.
There is actually one more thing I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
Something that I want to discuss. It's basically like the negativity that the series has been getting for the past years. Like,
Okay.
you know,
I
what
think it's
I'm
coming
talking
from
about.
people who grew up on the wrong side of the bed.
Okay, now the negativity is mostly on Sega's fault, and at the same time, Sonic fan base is cancer.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
here's the thing. The thing that I've noticed about the Sonic fan base is, like, again, it's split right down the middle. There's one half that think the games are about speed. The other half thinks it's about platforming and exploration. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm like, for the latter, I'm like, really? Like, speed was always the main focus. I mean, there's no doubt Sonic's a platform game, but like the fact that he's a speedy character is what separated him from like your Marios and your Mega Mans and stuff like that. And they had to build level designs around his speed. Like,
Yeah.
you took any Sonic rip-off game from the '90s, like Bubsy and like Awesome Possum. Those games didn't actually play well unless you slowed down, because they tried designing the levels like a Mario game and it just didn't work.
And they had they designed it around like Mario style with the speed, and they didn't work out too well.
But what I've noticed is like Sonic has actually become sort of like the whipping boy of the game industry. I mean, a literal whipping boy. Like anytime like IGN or GameSpot or like any of these mainstream companies are like, they don't want to get hate over let's say they didn't like what's the game that came out recently? Let's say they say Persona 5 sucks. They're not gonna say that. What they'll do first is they'll say like, oh, Sonic sucks, because that'll get them less hate. Like anytime they're frustrated, they just take it out on Sonic. Like he's a literal whipping boy.
Cop out, punching bag,
Exactly.
scapegoat.
True.
There's like 15 different names for what that actually is, but it's sad actually, because you should, if you're a game critic, you should treat all games equal unless they're your weak points. Like Donkey said. Like Donkey said, his weak points were RPG. Like what was it? RPG.
RPGs and anime games. Yeah.
And then he said that Persona 5 was good.
But of
weird.
course, you got guys like Ego Raptor and other guys that good to begin with them, and I hate that mentality. And like,
I mean, I understand if the games aren't your thing, because I've met some people that just never were into Sonic to begin with, could never get into the games. If you generally just don't like any of the games, you gave them a fair chance, I mean, that's cool. I'm not gonna say nothing. But if you're just gonna say that all the games were never ever good in the slightest, I think that's a little
exactly. It was Ego Raptor who started that trend, which I don't take anything he says for on video games for anything, because he's terrible at them.
Well, to be fair, he's also a comedian YouTuber at the same
he's an
time.
entertainer.
So you kind of have to be entertaining to.
But like, the thing about it,
I mean,
is,
I see your point, but still.
But the thing about Sonic games is like only like a handful of games are bad. The rest of them range from like mediocre to awesome. And like what the mentality is now is like Sonic's like that kid at school who shit his pants, and like now everybody just relentlessly makes fun of him,
even though that's long gone by now.
I know exactly. I mean, the reality is, like, everybody just says like Sonic sucks and he'll never be as good as he is in the Genesis days, when the actual reality is he's just made a couple of bad mistakes. He's only made a few mistakes, and nobody's not willing to let him live it down.
Kind of like an emo teenager.
Exactly. Like, then for some reason, it just upsets me that the series does get this negativity, especially in recent times. Like
it's undeserving, really, in recent times.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that people think that Lost World wasn't as good as a game as it should have been, despite how hyped up it was. Me personally, I thought it was a pretty good game myself, but unpopular opinion there. But it's just they're not that bad recently. Just let it go. Sonic 06 happened 20 and a half years ago. Just let it go.
Now, here's the thing about Sonic Lost World. Sonic Lost World is pretty much a Mario game with Sonic in it. And if Mario was in that game would have gotten like 10 out of 10s, praised, full time over. But because it was Sonic, people hated it.
Okay, do a minor correction here. The gameplay style of that game was done way before Mario did it. Mario had that visual elite, Sonic didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game had been in development for like ever.
But another thing I wanted to discuss is it's still the same topic, but I feel like with Sonic Boom, people expected way too much from it because like I knew it was going to suck because it's a tie-in to a kids cartoon. Did people really expect that to be good?
I myself, okay, as someone who didn't think it was gonna like it be absolutely the most atrocious thing on the planet. Like, I wasn't even expecting it to be like Sonic 06, like worse than Sonic 06 bad. I was more along the lines of, like, I was excited for it, but at the same time, I was just like, let's wait and see, because this is, I was more excited at the fact that we were going in a new direction, if anything.
Well, the thing I hated was, like, Sonic was actually in a good place before Sonic Boom. And then Sonic Boom came out. I honestly think people were waiting for something like that to make fun of Sonic again, like the mainstream people, and like, or like, oh, this game's bad. Sonic sucks again. We can make fun of them again. Yay!
Like as soon as that was announced, right? And I'm gonna go pretty M-rated here, so skip to this point in the video if you don't want to hear this. Just all the mainstream critics, just as soon as Sonic Boom was announced, just blew their load, right? And just started going all over that. Just
they wanted
PG.
They wanted something to make fun of Sonic for. They wanted to hate Sonic again because his recent games were actually pretty good. And they're like, well, shit, we can't make fun of him again. So they were just waiting for something like Boom to come out and just be like, oh, there it is. We have our excuse again. Take out the whips. Come here, whipping boy.
I'll explain my point of view on that whole Boom situation thing. When I saw the pictures for the first time, I hated my life and wanted to jump off a cliff. But when I heard that it was actually just going to be a separate dimension, separate storyline, I was like, okay, do that. Just leave it alone. Just leave what I love alone. And I never touched it again. And then I just kept on saying, well, Sonic Boom Rise of the Lyric wasn't a good game. I don't think it was the best of games. It kind of had mixed, like, below average, like, rating opinion on it.
It's worse than Sonic 06.
I don't think it is.
Well, it depends on. It depends on if you played it before. Like, I haven't played it before. I used to think it was worse than Sonic 06, and then they patched all the stuff out, and then actually made it decent, like playable. Frame rate's still an issue. All that other stuff is still an issue.
Being made.
There is a PC port being made?
Yeah, Sonic Synergy.
Yeah, Sonic Synergy Remastered. They're trying to pitch it to Sega or something.
But
hope it goes through.
The reason why I still consider Sonic 06 the worst, because again, it was rock bottom. Like, at least with Sonic Boom, Sonic at least climbed himself, a little bit back up. Sonic 06 was the dive bomb into the ground. And
I'm sorry, but I can't necessarily agree with that. Sonic Boom, at least Sonic 06 actually had effort into it with at least with the gameplay and whatnot. Sonic Boom is just mind-numbingly dull. I mean, it just took everything what made Sonic, quote unquote, and just, I don't know, turned into some stupid brawler, which didn't do a good job at it.
And there were faults everywhere.
Sonic
there were faults on pretty much both sides of this.
Look, both games are terrible. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, heck yes.
Really agree on that.
See, that's what America's all about: coming to terms on what you hate.
Yeah. Let's not. That's for your podcast there. Definitely not saying the name of it. Okay. Don't worry, I didn't just vomit all over the table there. That's disgusting. So, what were we talking about again?
Sonic Forces.
Sonic, well, yeah, Sonic Forces. I think we've done past the speculation.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think we got on to the hate on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Sonic's asleep.
I really think he's half asleep right now. Actually, 3/4. Well, we're like 90 minutes in. I don't know if we want to extend it to 100. Tony would probably kill me. It's very likely, but I think what we all should do is lower our expectations, and then we get the satisfaction of being happy and don't hate each other at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then when something good comes out, we can be excited and we can start talking about Sonic Mania being a decent game. I'm saying decent because I know it's great. I just don't want to get myself hyped up because it's coming out to PC on fucking August 29th.
Hey, no. We gotta keep our expectations low so that way when Next 2 finally releases, it'll be the game of the year.
Changing the layout right now to make it the discussion Knack 2 and we go on for another 2 hours. Tony would actually throw myself in, he would actually cut my head off and throw it into a brick wall just for and then throw my body into a river just for added insult to injury.
Next podcast is Knack 2.
It's definitely a Knack 2 discussion. Well, I don't know if Tony wants to end this off or if he's actually asleep right now.
I guess he's asleep. I
think he's actually asleep, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it right now. Thanks so much for watching the Lethal Gear podcast with me, Tony, Brendan, the other guy, I forgot your name, Arcane Magic, Brandon, and Jordan, all our real names, and we all know them by now. I'm probably just going to edit this part out of the video. Tony? So we got jrstan, BlackRockShadow, Sonickick, Arcane Magic, 514, and TheRadRaicer. I don't know how to say your name.
Ricer.
How do I say your name? Ricer.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say your name. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lethal Gear podcast. We're probably going to do one of these again in like 17 years.
More like
when
20.
Knack 2 comes out. Definitely a Knack podcast. So I hope you guys have enjoyed and enjoy your the rest of your life. Hope you have a good life.
Enjoy tonight's masturbation session, guys.
just blow it all. You're a mainstream critic. Just do it all over Sonic Boom. Just go back to 2013. All right. Hope you guys have enjoyed. We went super M-rated there. This podcast is over. This is over.
The straightest face, too. Holy crap.
Is Tony asleep?
Tony, are you awake?
I think he's dead.
Fuck.
Jared was like, fuck. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Tony.
Oh my God. The Lethal Gear podcast post show. Here we go, boys.
I'm sorry, did I fall asleep during the Sonic podcast?
Sorry.
It's fine.